Alright, midweek 43, let's do this. The principle of expressing similar ideas in a similar or parallel way is known as what kind of construction? It's in the sentence. It is parallel construction. And what part of speech are generally used in place of nouns so that we don't have to repeat them 3,000.5 times in a sentence? Those are called pronouns. Pronouns take the place of nouns. And the noun to which a pronoun refers is called its what. It starts with an A. It gives the pronoun its definite meaning. It tells us what the pronoun stands for. That noun is the antecedent, which is right there if you can't spell it, antecedent. Pronouns require antecedents whenever there can be any doubt about what or what they refer to. So if we're talking about with like a people, that would be about whom, or if it's a thing, about what they refer to. So whom or what. And the two pronouns that generally do not require antecedents because there can never really be any doubt about whom they refer to. If it's the person speaking, it is I. And if it's the person listening, it is you. I and you never have any doubt as to who they're talking about. So the meaning of a pronoun usually depends upon its antecedent, and this referring to another word is known as the circle star highlight, the reference of a pronoun. So whenever a pronoun has no antecedent to give it its meaning, we say that that pronoun lacks its reference. So previously we fixed sentences with pronouns that had no antecedents. So if like Angela sang, comma, and everyone enjoyed it, versus Angela sang a song, comma, and everyone enjoyed it, which sentence is faulty because we don't actually know what it is. There's no reference to it. That would be A, right? There's nothing that tells us what it is. Whereas in B, what is it? The song. So sentences can get even more confusing when it's not clear to which noun or pronoun is supposed to be referring. So suppose like you were being super fancy, hanging out at some summer cottage, and then you got the text that said, take the motor off the boat and sell it. It could refer to one of two things, right? What are the two things you could sell? Either the motor or the boat, right? So you would be very confused after that text. You would need some more clarification. So, because this sentence has two possible meanings, we say that it is circle star highlight. This word will not go away. It is considered ambiguous, which of course means having more than one possible meaning. So the word that makes that sentence, take the motor off the boat and sell it, ambiguous would be the pronoun it. So take the motor off the boat and sell it versus sell the motor after you take it off the boat. So which sentence is clear because there's only one noun before the pronoun it, which could possibly serve as the antecedent? B, right? Because what is it? The motor, which comes in front of it. So you know it's not talking about selling the boat. So take the motor off the boat and sell it. So another easy way to clear up the confusion would be simply get rid of the pronoun, right? And replace it with the noun that it stood for, which was the motor. So after Mom left Eve at camp, she felt lonely. So the sentence is also ambiguous because the pronoun she could refer to one of two people. Which two people? Either Mom or Eve. So you can often get rid of ambiguity by shifting the false antecedent, the one that it doesn't actually stand for, to a position after the pronoun. And that way it won't be in the spot to confuse the reader. So if Mom felt lonely after she left Eve at camp, if we rewrite it like this, now we know that she has to mean Mom, not Eve, because what noun is now after the pronoun she? Eve, right? So now we know it's not Eve who's lonely. Eve's having fun at summer camp. Mom's feeling lonely. Lola backed the car out of the garage and cleaned it. All right, so again, the sentence is ambiguous because we don't know what is being cleaned. Was it the car or was it the garage? We have no idea because it's ambiguous. So we can always reconstruct a faulty sentence to make the reference of the pronoun a lot more clear. So if like Lola cleaned the garage after backing it out of the garage, sorry, she cleaned the car after backing it out of the garage versus Lola cleaned the garage after backing out the car. Does either sentence leave any doubt as to what was actually being cleaned? No, right? It's perfectly clear now. So Stan was out of practice when Jack beat him. Stan beat Jack when he was out of practice. Jack was out of practice when Stan beat him. So of the three sentences, which one has the reference of the pronoun being confusing and ambiguous because we don't know who it's actually supposed to be referring to? B, right? Because who could he be? Either Stan's out of practice or Jack is out of practice. We don't know. So in the following pairs of sentences, you're going to circle the sentence that is not ambiguous with the pronoun antecedents. So when our bus reached the station, comma, it was almost empty, versus our bus was almost empty when it reached the station. All right, so which one has it being very, very clear what the pronoun it is supposed to be referring to? B, right? Because what is it that it was almost empty? The bus. Whereas in A, it sounds like either the bus is empty or the station is empty. We don't really know. But the next one, as soon as Larry gets a kennel, he is going to keep the dog in it. Larry is going to keep the dog in a kennel as soon as he gets one. Alright, so between it and one, which one has it not being ambiguous? Which one has the sentence being perfectly clear? A, right? Because what is it that he's going to keep the dog in? The kennel. Whereas in B, he's getting one, but one what? One dog or one kennel? We really don't know. The Yankees will play the White Sox. They have a great team. The Yankees will play the White Sox, who have a great team. Which one is not ambiguous? B, right? Because who has the great team? The White Sox. Whereas in A, they could mean either the White Sox or the Yankees. If you find any worms in the cabbages, destroy them. Destroy any worms that you find in the cabbages. Alright, so which one is good? B, right? We fixed it by putting the them into cabbages, whereas in A, them could either be the worms you're destroying or the cabbages. We don't know. Dad said to Bob, comma, quote, your hands are always dirty, period, quote, versus Dad told Bob that his hands were always dirty. Which one does it come across as super obvious whose hands are dirty? A, right? Whereas B, his hands could be Dad or Bob. We don't know. At the time of Charlie's birth, comma, his father was a band leader versus Charlie's father was a band leader at the time of his birth. Which one is not ambiguous? A, right? Whereas B, it could be he was a band leader when he was born or when Charlie was born. We really don't know. Whenever Mom discusses politics with Aunt Donna, she gets very excited. Mom gets very excited whenever she discusses politics with Aunt Donna. Which one is good? B, right? Because A, we don't know who's getting excited, Mom or Aunt Donna. So far, so good? Hope so. So, sentences that report someone's remark or comments often leave the reader guessing as to which person the pronoun he or she or they is supposed to refer to. So, if like the doctor told Dad that he needed a vacation, this sentence is ambiguous because we don't know who actually needs the vacation. It could be which two people? Dad or the doctor. So usually the only way to eliminate the ambiguity in a sentence like this is to express it with a direct quote. So the doctor told Dad, comma quote, you need a vacation, period quote. So this sentence means that the doctor needs a vacation or Dad needs a vacation. That would be Dad, right? Because of what pronoun? The you. Now, if it were the doctor telling Dad that the doctor needs a vacation, you wouldn't say you would of course change it to I. I need a vacation. So same type of thing. Tracy told Janet that her friend was waiting. So we're going to complete this sentence with a direct quote to show that it's Janet's friend who was waiting. So it would be Tracy told Janet, your friend is waiting, right? You becomes your because it is Janet's friend. Now, pretend like instead it's Tracy's friend. Instead of saying your friend is waiting, she would say my friend is waiting. And it would clear up the ambiguity. So the cashier told the clerk that she had made a mistake. So we're going to rewrite this sentence with a direct quote to show that it is the clerk who made the mistake, not the cashier. Okay? So we could keep the first part the same. The cashier told the clerk, comma, quote, but if we want it to be the clerk making the mistake, it would be, remember the cashier is talking, you made a mistake, right? So the cashier told the clerk, comma, quote, you made a mistake, period, end quote. So we're going to clear up the meaning of this sentence by substituting a noun for the ambiguous pronoun. And you guys can choose which one you want to go with. Either would be acceptable. If the lids won't fit the jars, throw them away. So what are the two things that them could be? Either the lids or the jars. So if the lids won't fit the jars, throw what away? You could say throw the jars away. Or what instead? Throw the lids away. Your choice, either or. I don't care which one you go with, just as long as you do one of the two. Same thing here. When Fred saw Bruce, comma, he was in a uniform, so he could be either Fred or Bruce. I'm going to make him Bruce. Why not? So when Fred saw Bruce, comma, Bruce was in uniform. Although you could have said Fred was in uniform. Either would be just fine. I don't care which you choose, just as long as you choose one of them. If there are any misspelled words in your paper, edit them correctly. What are you editing correctly? Could be the misspelled words or it could be the paper. So, what should you do? If there are any misspelled words in your paper, edit the misspelled words correctly. That would make sense. That's all you have to do. Alright, so this next part, which is going to be on the test, you're going to rewrite every sentence so that the italicized pronoun can only mean the underlined word. You're not going to substitute nouns for the pronouns, and you're going to count any answer correct if the antecedent of the pronoun is entirely clear. So if the blouse doesn't match the skirt, you can return it. Here is my recommendation of how to approach these types of sentences in this section, okay? You'll notice the sentence already is kind of split by the comma. You have the adverb clause in the front, you have the main statement in the back. Right now it's ambiguous because it could refer to skirt or blouse, but we only want it to refer to blouse. So the best way to fix this is to start with the second half of the sentence and just switch the pronoun for the underlined word and vice versa. So it would say you can return the blouse if it doesn't match the skirt. Okay? So you see how I did that? I just started with the second half of the sentence so that the pronoun goes more in front, but you just flip the underlined word with the italicized pronoun. You can return the blouse if it doesn't match the skirt. That's all you gotta do. So with this one, whenever Miss Ross talks to Sally, comma, she seems enthusiastic, and bear in mind she is going to become her in your revised sentence. Why don't you guys go ahead and try this one? We'll see if you get the correct answer or not. I'll give you a second. Okay, so remember if you're going to flip it, you're going to start off with this chunk, move it to the front. So who is she? We want it to mean Sally. So Sally seems enthusiastic whenever Miss Ross talks to her. So again, you see I took this chunk, moved it to the front, but just flipped the underlined word for the pronoun and the pronoun for the underlined word. And that's all you gotta do. So let's do this up here too. My uncle heard Elvis sing when he was a teenager. Now you'll notice this one doesn't have a comma coming anywhere in between, but we do have an adverb clause coming at the end. So let's still flip it. When who was a teenager, when my uncle was a teenager, comma, he heard Elvis sing. That's all you have to do. Just flip it. This one does have the comma to indicate it. So if you use high-grade oil in your motor, it will last longer. So flip the sentence, start over here. What will last longer? Your motor will last longer if you use high-grade oil in it. Mom doesn't like Diane to play the drums when she is tired. So again, we've got an adverb clause coming at the end, starting with the word when. So when who is tired? When mom is tired, comma, what does mom become? She. So when mom is tired, comma, she doesn't like Diane to play the drums. And this last one, Greg couldn't notify Jeff because he had no service on his phone. We've got an adverb clause coming at the end. Oh no, let's flip it. So because who had no service on his phone, that should be italicized. There we go. So because he had no service on his phone, Greg couldn't notify Jeff. So if we're gonna flip it, because Jeff had no service on his phone, comma, Greg couldn't notify him. Okay? I know I just kind of went through those fairly quickly, but you should be able to see the pattern. If you're still really stuck about it though and you have more questions, go ahead, let me know, and let's try out that worksheet.